When I was a little bitty boy, my grandmother bought me a cute little toy.
Who does it? Stars do it. I rear-ended a lady. I rear-ended her heart. Ma'am, I'm sorry that, yes, I did hit your car, but I'm insured. I got cracked. Welcome to the Dunk Tank. This week, in my wonderful journeys, I've found out some very interesting information. I had a chance to get to Vegas, and we have a special guest on, and that's Katie, our crack photographer.
Well, thank you.
So I was thinking, who is really doing homebrewing? Who does it? Stars do it. Did you know that Star Trek Next Generation Ensign Wesley Crusher, a.k.a. Will Wheaton, is a homebrewer?
No, I did not.
It's insane. I mean, this guy, he's, famed author of 3 books, occasional drop-in on Big Bang Theory, and he's a homebrewer. So he blogs on the Devilgate Brewery Company website, and he has many different beers. I did a little research, and I found out they have on tap a brunch stout, a dry dock pale ale, barrel-aged Scotch ale, and for bottles, they got something called No Quarter Honey Sage Seasonal, long name.
Probably tastes good.
And Dead Ringer. And now people say I'm a dead ringer for George Clooney, but...
Do they now?
Well, I'm handsome. What are you going to do? But then we went to Vegas, and I love Vegas because you can go there and just spend gobs of money and not feel bad about it. Of course,
until you come home and realize you spent gobs of money, and then you feel bad about it.
Now, I'm the same guy that goes to Payless for a $20 pair of shoes and then crabs about it because they cracked after 3 months. But I'll go to Vegas and drop a couple G's and be like, that was awesome.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't at all. But what I found is there, I had a Black Widow stout, and it was an Irish-style dry stout. I didn't like it. And I thought I was all cool. I had the 22 ounce. I'm like, I'm a craft beer drinker, man. Dun, 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 dun. And it just sucked. I didn't like it.
Oh, that's too bad.
So I reverted to 3-foot-tall margaritas, and with my wife.
Not as good as craft beer, but that'll get the job done.
Oh, but girl, I tell you, we're like, woo. The first one, it just mellows you out. The second one, you're like, I'm feeling it. The third one, you're like, where is the bed? So
that's not how you're supposed to spend your night in Vegas. You're supposed to get crazy.
Oh,
not go to bed.
Well, and you want to
never go to bed.
But you want to talk crazy? They repealed this law in Vegas to where now you can panhandle. So you have every homeless person there in some soiled Gumby outfit. Oh. Or in a wheelchair with, help me Vietnam vet, and he's 20 years old. So it's just, it's bad though, because every 5 feet there's somebody with their hand out. So they're competing with the casino.
Everybody wants your money in Vegas. That's the moral of the story there.
It is.
Everybody wants it.
And then even this guy, he had the guts to come up to me and says, hey man, were you in the service? I was a doc, and the whole nine. He gave me this whole line. I only need $20 to get on the bus to go to the VA center. I'm like, no, I'd rather put it in a slot machine, but here's $1. And later that night, I'm not drunk and I'm wandering around, and I've got 10, 20 beads on. It was like Margaret, woohoo!
Mardi Gras?
Yeah, one of those. And I see him, and he's at a machine. I almost felt like saying, hey, Doc, can I have my $1 back? Because you obviously didn't get on the bus.
Well, you only gave him $1, so he's playing slots with it.
Maybe he's trying to get lucky.
Yeah.
You never
Jackpot.
know. He is in Vegas. And then, you're an awesome photographer, and I'm going to hit on that in a second. But I've just got one really kind of nerdy thing that I learned that I'm kind of feeling like a beer geek, except maybe just a very young beer geek. So it's something called Docket FDA 2011-N-0922. Do you know what that is?
Not a clue in the world.
Well, I'm about to tell you.
All right.
The FDA rule is trying to make it financially impossible for small craft brewers to give basically spent grains away to the needy farmers.
I did hear about this.
So I did my own research because, being, part-time producer, that's what you're supposed to do. What I found, though, is this new law. Okay, you'd have to make it everything have to be dried, analyzed, and packaged. And think of it this way. You're a brewery. You would literally have to have a written food safety plan, hazard analysis, preventative controls, monitoring, corrective actions, verification, and associated records, just to give Farmer Joe some grains.
That's why you should just make dog treats out of them like Oso does and we do. Or, I guess you could feed them to cows, but if you can't, if the FDA says it's not okay, well, then it's, I guess, not okay.
Well, it's just going to lead to increased costs. Being a, investigator, I like to read about these things. So it's just going to, even if you think about the farmer aspect, we're going to get hit with increased food prices, milk, prices in beer. Anyway, so not to get too much into that, but I did read about that. I did a little some search on the interweb and came up with that. But finally, it's about you. It's about Katie.
All about me.
So
it's always all about me.
It is. So I've prepared a list of questions because I really want to know, and the world wants to know, what you're about. So first of all, you're a photographer. Tell me about that love.
Well, that started with my dad. He was always taking photos. He'd be behind the crowd taking photos. We'd have to wait hours for him, and I picked it up, and I've developed my own film, created my own black and white photos, took classes in Italy, and now it's kind of a hobby of mine. I was lucky enough to get a really nice camera for my graduation, and so far I've just been using it, especially for DrinkinAZ and my own travels, taking it to Prague this summer. So it's just kind of a side thing that I've always loved.
Well, that's good, and you're excellent at it, obviously.
Thank you.
So you said Prague. Are you in what industry are you in?
I'm actually in the international education industry. I work for a company who's a provider for study abroad programs, but I'm getting a master's in international education. So I am finishing my master's program in Prague this summer, which is pretty awesome. So I'll technically be able to be a teacher, though that is not my plan.
Okay. So what is your plan?
What is your plan?
My plan is to use it to develop curriculum for students going abroad and make it, engaging and cultural, and try and bring that globalization that people are looking to do in just regular public education into our program, so that students are not only just going abroad, but they're actually learning about the culture that they're in and really discovering about that city along with other cities and other cultures while they're there, kind of just open their mind to that globalization, because it's coming. There's no way to avoid it at this point.
So maybe in your curriculum you could bring in some kind of 80s hip-hop and breakdancing?
We could probably make a class. I'm sure we could figure out a way to make a class
Everybody
about that.
brings a piece of cardboard, and they rip their pants, maybe pull them down a little bit, and I don't know, maybe do some pop locking or the robot
I'm
or
not
the
sure our
chicken
school
dance.
of record would allow that to happen, but I'm sure we can make that a social or cultural activity.
Okay,
I'm sure we could get it that way.
I also learned that you're a prolific homebrewer.
I help homebrew. I'm not quite sure. I've never actually done a batch myself yet. That's the next step.
But
So you're almost prolific.
Yeah, almost.
Make sure to use all your prolifics to be safe.
Okay.
prophylactics.
Oh, I always get those things confused. That's crazy. And so what's your favorite beer style? What are you really into?
I am on two opposite ends of the spectrum. I love wheat beers and then porters and stouts.
Okay.
So
I'm not with you on the wheat, but the porters and the stouts.
Well, I grew up
down.
on the wheats, and the first beer I ever really loved was the Boulevard Wheat, so that's why I still love it. Still want a nice, light, refreshing, especially in the summer here. I'm learning to like Kolsch and lagers and Pilsners, and I'm going to Pilsen this summer, so watch out.
Have you had the Berliner Weiss?
No.
We need to do that on the show here.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing, slightly sour
Let's wait until it's like 120, and then we'll do
wheat
it.
beer. Yes.
So then finally, where are you at as far as where are the different places that you like to drink? What are your watering holes?
My house.
Okay.
We live in Laveen, and it's a little bit difficult to find good places. We've started going to Old World Brewery because it's pretty close to us, but I love Oso. I work down the street from there, and I frequent that often. So I love that place.
Does
as well.
Adam know about that?
Yes, he usually comes with me, or I go by myself. That is the one place I will go by myself.
You better watch out. She likes to drink by herself. She might be in trouble.
She can handle herself.
He's not worried.
All right, well, World Katie the World.
Nice to meet you.
So for the Dunk Tank, this is Duncan Lee, and have a great week. Cheers.